Hey, thanks for dropping by to the Planners on Purpose podcast, created by Naomi Tucker, CMP. Now, this space is for the event planners to encourage and empower you so that you can fully live your life on purpose. So before we dig in, please take a moment to subscribe so you get future shows. Now, here she comes, your host, Naomi.
You're in a race. It's high stress, high stakes. You have your team, but your team fumbles in the middle of a task. What do? Do you hold your cool? Can you keep it together and uplift your teammate with positivity even though they drop the ball? Or do you lose it? Do you just lose your cool? They should have did better. You've lost it, and it's all downhill from here. Which teammate are you? Now, I say this only because me and my family are watching Amazing Race, and it's been very interesting. For those of you that do not know, Amazing Race is a TV show that actually comes on, and it has been on for many years. I think we're watching some way old episodes. But the whole goal of this race is that there are different teams that are racing around the world to be the first ones to complete all of their tasks. And once they complete all of their tasks, going to all these different countries all around the world, they get the ultimate prize. They are the survivor of the Amazing Race. So me and my family, we watch it. We definitely like to dig into some of those old seasons, and it's been very fun. But what's been interesting for us is just to see the differences of the teams that are very supportive of each other, how they give themselves positive remarks when they fail, how they really encourage and love the person that they are with, versus if it's someone that really berates their partner, tells them they're stupid. Oh, they should have never had brought them on this journey with them. It's amazing to see the differences in the performance. And you know what is the constant in ensuring a very positive outcome? The constant is when someone uses positivity. When they use positivity to build their teams, people do really well. And it's not just using it just the one time. It's consistent use of positivity that allows these teams to really thrive when they need to thrive. So I wanted to talk about that because I think that we can definitely use a big dose of positivity when it comes to the event industry and building our event teams and going through our planning process and having a wonderful network, a supportive network as we're planning events. We are in a time where many of us are high stress, and it's very tough to just maintain the steadiness of our jobs. So with that said, a little positivity can go a long way to help us to create just that little bit of joy in our lives that we need in order to just continue to do this important work. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. And before I get a little bit more into it, I wanted to introduce myself for those that did not know me. My name is Naomi Tucker, and I am a strategic events consultant and coach, helping and empowering event professionals to stress less, live more, and lead a life that they love. And I help them to be a planner on purpose, which is to live intentionally, to pay attention to the things that you want to do in your life, all while still creating amazing events and being that driven, successful event professional. So that is what I'm here to do. I'm excited to be here, and I just welcome for those of you that are here and are maybe new to me. So welcome, and welcome to those that are consistently here downloading the podcast every week. You all are amazing, and I just thank you so much. So I wanted to bring up a professor by the name of Barbara Fredrickson. Barbara wrote these very important studies on positivity, especially during her time as a professor at the University of North Central University on Chapel Hill. And it's very interesting the things that she has to say about positivity. And I thought that they would be great for us to unpack and really use as a filter on how we're doing our work and how we're managing our events. So Barbara really talks about positivity in some very unique ways. And because I thought it was helpful, I wanted to bring it to you. So Barbara talks about the differences between being positive, but then also having this fear or this negative emotion. And she mentions that fear closes down our minds and our hearts. However, positive emotions open up our minds and open up our hearts. So that in itself, when you really think about that, I can tell you countless times where I've planned events or been on event teams, and many times there is a fear of failure, a fear of, disappointing a client, a fear of disappointing our leaders. And that fear definitely is working against us because it closes down our minds and hearts. It doesn't allow us to be open. And because of that, we're a little bit more closed off. So how do you combat that? So Barbara talks about positivity and how positivity can really help us to point to a wider range of emotion. She talks about positivity, and it's not just one thing or just one specific feeling. Positivity is love, it's joy, it's gratitude, it's interest, and it's hope. And she feels as though that positivity is very heartfelt because all of these emotions are more heart-centric, and they change our mindset and change our chemistries when we utilize them. So I thought this was very, very interesting because it's not just, positive. It can be unpacked in all of these different emotions. And many of these emotions we certainly do use when we're on site or when we're planning events. We can be joyful for just being in the location that we are or being amongst the teammates that we have. We can have gratitude for being able to do this great work. We can have interest or curiosity about our attendees and about our clients, and we can have hope that things go well, and we can just really enjoy and love the experience when everything comes together, right? So there is so much positivity that surrounds our events if we're able to unpack it and to see it. So what I really love about what Barbara says is she talks about that when we look at positivity, there is a tipping point. Our emotions obey a tipping point, similar to how ice melts at a certain temperature or water becomes ice at a certain temperature, right? There is a ratio that is involved when you look at positivity, and that ratio is the positive emotions to negative emotions ratio, and she calls it the positivity ratio. So what she says through her research is that the tipping point ratio for positivity is 3-1, which means that we typically need 3 positive emotions to lift us up for every 1 negative emotion that drags us down. Isn't that amazing? So that just means if we get a negative emotion, let's say via a client that wasn't necessarily happy with an event, or perhaps a leader gave us criticism which we took negatively, it takes 3 positive emotions to lift us up out of that. And I just think that that shows you how much more positivity that we need. And Barbara even mentions that many people, their positivity ratio is 2-1, and they are still worse off. So definitely bringing some positivity to what we do can be very beneficial for us. It can help lift us up out of our emotions. And when we do that, we can be in a space that we are more open, that we are flourishing in life versus languishing in life. So that I feel is a very crucial thing. Now, there is just some aspects about positivity that I thought were very helpful. So when we're in a positive mood, we have a broader range of actions, which means we are more open and we can boost our productivity and boost our creativity when we have more positivity that's around us, right? And when we're in a positive mood. We also can be open to new experiences. I think that also plays into the creative, but definitely open to possibilities, open to doing it differently, which can really be super helpful when it comes to event planning, because we're always looking to do something different, something unique, trying to, level up the events that we do, trying to bring different topics to discussions and understand different content that we can bring to the table. When we are in a state of mind and in a culture that fosters productivity, it allows us to be able to do these things, have these experiences, and then it also helps us to better integrate the information. So information that we're receiving, we're able to just integrate it within our lives, within our clients and companies, so that we can make things better, thus probably being more creative. So this is what positivity can do, and when we're in a positive mood, can help us to do. That's why I thought, hey, it would be just great to talk about this, because we want to make sure that we are doing our best to being open. And there is a such thing as toxic positivity. So when you are looking to be more positive, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to be pressured to be positive, because it can backfire. So what you want to do is make sure that you're being light about it, especially if you're not a naturally positive person, or you're just trying to do this for, let's say, the first time. The key is to be more open, be more appreciative, be more gracious, have curiosity, lead by curiosity instead of being finite about your opinion and more rigid. Try to let go of the rigid expectations and take in from all of your senses. Be creative, be appreciative, be kind, and be real. Those are some ways that you can start to welcome in positivity into your life without being overly positive, and that will end up having reverse effects, because people can sense that you're not genuine, right? So you want to practice being genuine, and that first can come by being more open and being more appreciative and have more gratitude. It's key to just realize that everywhere we look, there are sources of goodness, us being able to be grateful. And sometimes we can be blinded when we're fixated on a particular goal. It's really hard for us to see all those good things that are out there. And this is important for us to understand, because when we are planning events, when we're having a seat at the table, talking to our clients, talking to our leaders, many times there's goals all over the place. And we can definitely be fixated to the point that we aren't able to see some of the good out there, so that we can kind of integrate it and be more creative. So many of these things, it's like we have to be aware of the goal. However, we want to make sure that we allow ourselves to be open, so that we can mold and shape some of those aspects of goodness and integrate that within what we're doing, in order to make what we're doing much better, because we're able to be more creative. So if we're open, we remove those blinders. Now, we're not going to eliminate negativity. It's important for all of the emotions to be able to be expressed. However, it's great that being able to practice positivity can definitely help us all, if we come together, to lift up our spirits and to help boost us more in a positive state of mind. So I hope that was helpful. I think that the whole science of positivity is absolutely eye-opening. And it goes to show that there's a lot that we can do. We are in a position in our industry that many people are leaving the industry. And a lot of it has to do with just probably their feelings on their positions and people being burned out, people just taking on so much work, not being able to get paid for all of the work that they're doing. There can be so many reasons on top of reasons. And all of those reasons can definitely bring us down. And nobody wants to be in that down state, because that then starts to bring on those feelings of disengagement, exhaustion, which can lead to burnout. And then people tap out. So really finding ways to bring in this positivity, all of these different aspects or emotions of positivity, which are, I'll say them again, love, joy, gratitude, interest, and hope, bringing those in and having everyone work together to bring those more into the industry with kindness can really help us to turn things around so that we really can see our industry continue to flourish, but in a good way. Things can flourish, but we're working crazy in order to get things done, or things can flourish and it just truly feels amazing to be a part of such a wonderful industry, right? So it's best that we help everybody get to that place, and we can do that through positivity and using that when we're planning our events and with our event teams and with our leaders. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast today as much as I enjoyed kind of digging into some of this science of positivity. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Until next time, please stay on purpose.
Well, that wraps it up for this episode. If you enjoyed the conversation, hit the like button and tell us how much you enjoyed the show by leaving a message in the comments. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.